כן, נתיבות שלום על התורה, ספר בראשית, פרשת ויצא. So, Yaakov Avinu is fleeing, right? He's going out from his house. So he had a dream. ויחלום והנה סולם מוצב ארצה, and the ladder standing on the ground, and the head to the top of the ladder to heaven, to שמיים. והנה מלאכי אלוקים עולים ויורדים בו, and the angel are going up and down, and Hashem standing upon him. So it said in מדרש רבה, תנא בר כפרה. והנה סולם, זה הכבש מוצב ארצה, זה מזבח. מזבח אדמה תעשה לי, וראשו מגיע השמיים, אלו הקורבנות שרחן עונן לשמיים. So he said, what is the ladder? It's the kevesh. Kevesh is the ramp that was leading to the altar, to the mizbeach. And the mutzav arza, it said that that's the mizbeach, because mizbeach adama, you build an altar made from soil, from the ground, and the head reaching to the sky. These are the sacrifices that they're smelled, right? The smoke that coming from the burn, going up to heaven. והנה מלאכי אלוקים, these are the priests, the kohanim, עולים ויורדים בו, שהם עולים ויורדים בכבש, they're going up in the ramp and they're going down, bringing the sacrifices. והנה השם ניצב עליו. So he says, ראיתי את השם ניצב על המזבח. In Sefer Amos, in the prophet Amos, it says that I saw Hashem standing upon the altar, the mizbach. And Rabbanan, Patrin Allah, but our sages said that this is in Sinai, Har Sinai. והחלום. So he was dreaming. והנה סולם זה סיני, so the ladder is Sinai. The סולם in Gematria, the ד' סמך למד מם, it's Sinai. מוצב ארצה, והתייצבו בתחתית ההר, right? So they were standing on the ground when they were receiving the Torah in Har Sinai. They didn't climb to the mountain, right? It was forbidden. וראשו מגיע השמיימה, and the head of the ladder, which is basically Har Sinai, reaching up to the sky. And the mountain is burning with fire until the heart of heaven. והנה מלאכי אלוקים עולים ויורדים בו. So where the angels that are going up and down, these are Moshe and Aaron. והנה השם ניצב עליו, and Hashem standing upon him, וירד השם על הסולם. So again, we're learning Hasidut, and there are two explanations here for the dream with the ladder, which is the ramp, the altar, the smoke and the smell of the sacrifices, or it's Har Sinai, Moshe Aaron is standing there, right? The rest of the people down, receiving the Torah. He said, these two explanations, Biur HaMashmaut, what does it mean in this explanation, according to the Midrash? We should say, Din el mina et Hashem HaMidrash. It says, Vayivga b'makom. So now we're going back to Yaakov Avinu, and he was like bump in that area, right? He's walking, and boom, he got into something. ביקש לעבור, he wanted to pass. ונעשה העולם כולו כמין כותל לפניו, and the entire world became like a wall in front of him. Why? כי יעקב אבינו, in all of his years, until he needed to flee and go to Haran, he was in the house of Yitzchak, right? יעקב איש תם יושב אוהלים, he was in yeshiva, אצל his father and ever in the yeshiva. And he was like very holy at the time, like a servant, like an angel. And it says, Kedoshenu Kedosh Yaakov, right? He was separated totally from this world, and was sanctified with the divine Kedusha, as it says in Chazal, right? In all of his years, he was, until he was like marrying a woman, he had no blemishes, nothing. And also what our sage says, on the Pasuk, Vayishkav b'mokomo, that he was lying down in that place. He was lying down that time. But all of these 14 years when he was in the yeshiva, right before he went to Haran, so he was in yeshiva 14 years, preparing, learning, elevating spiritually, and then he didn't sleep 14 years, but at that time he was sleeping. Only when he left Beersheba to go to Haran. So now he needs to lower himself and to this world and build a house and to have children, and basically to live the life, the American dream, and have a parnasa, etc. And therefore, the whole world suddenly stopped him, and it looked like a huge, big wall, which means the welcome to the world, welcome to the real world now, right? Is like standing up in front of him like a big wall that he could not go through. So how he can go from the real world actually, which is the spiritual world that he was in yeshiva, it was all in Kedusha, suddenly to go to welcome to the world, to this world. He couldn't understand how he's going to do that. And especially from the holy places that he used to be, to go to this impure place, the Makom Tameh, is the house of Lavan. And for that, they showed him from heaven. V'yene sulam, there is a ladder standing on the ground, the top go to heaven. And it's the intention for that, to show him that the purpose, Hashem's will, is that a Jew should be actually involved in this world, not to isolate yourself. And within the involvement in this world, you will find the path how to be holy. And this is the sulam, the ladder that is standing on the ground and go up to heaven. And it says in Torah Tavot. So what is this sulam? So sulam is teaching us about kviyut avoda shel Yehudi b'olamo b'dino olam hazeh. Kviyut, it's like something permanent, like how we should serve Hashem or how we should work on ourselves in this world, in these matters of the world. So the sulam, the ladder, is basically two poles with steps in between. But you can also look at it as frame, above frame, and another frame, and another frame, right? So the side of the ladder and the steps up and down, or top, bottom, it's one frame. And above that, you have another step, so it's another frame. So it's the accumulation of frames. He said, so a Jew should always find himself into the frame of the Gedusha. And he go up, chas v'chalila down, but he's within the frame. Shale darga batar darga, one step and another step and another step until we get to heaven. But if chas v'chalila is falling down, then he should also remain in the frame. Okay, so he went from one step to the lower one, and another lower one, but still he remained in the ladder, remained within the frame, the framework, right? So he shouldn't fall outside, chas v'chalila, from the frame of the Kedusha. And this is what it says, the angel going up and down, which means they're going up and they're going down, but still they remain in the ladder, which means in the mizgeret, the frame of the Kedusha, and they don't leave that. And the same way in this world, do not go out from the frame, stay within the frame, which indeed this world is taking us from the Kedusha, lowering us to places which we don't want to be, but we can protect ourselves only by having a frame. And the frame is the Torah, the Holy Torah. And also, our sages says in Midrash, Tane Bar Kapara, Sulam Utzav Arza Zakev. So we're going back to Bar Kapara, which says that the ladder is actually the kevesh, the ram that goes into the altar. And the Mizbeach רומז על עניין העבודה של ידעו בעולמו, right? So there are two things, Torah and avoda. What is avoda? Many people make a mistake, think that avoda is work. It is work of the korbanot, of the sacrifices. So the altar, the mizbeach, that was a place of our work. That was our job, right? To bring the sacrifices, especially if you are a kohen. So that's the mizbeach, is makom of avoda, because people are doing a spiritual work on themselves, and literally the spilling blood. That should be their blood, but actually it's the blood of the sacrifices. And that's the frame, and that's the ladder. So avodah ve'igiyah, the work and the effort, needs to be within that frame of Kedusha, that we should not leave. And the beginning, or the avodah of that ramp and the altar, starting from the ground. First step we do. And then we do a small step, climbing a small step to get into the ramp. And then again, and another one, and another one. We shouldn't look at the top. Right, I think professional climbers said that when they climb a mountain, they say they don't look at the peak. They look at what's in front of them. Another step, and another step, another step, and eventually they will get to the top of the mountain. So same thing here. We need to mosif ve'olech u'mitale darga batar darga. It's reminding me Chanukah. Chanukah, we're starting with one candle, and then a second candle, until we get to the eighth one. Again, we're always adding a little bit, another step, another step. So he said, and then until we'll get to heaven. וראשו מגיע השמיימה. ועד until, והנה Hashem ניצב עליו. So it's not only that the ladder will go up to heaven, but also Hashem standing upon him. And I saw Hashem standing upon the altar, upon the Mizbeach, והנה מלאכי אלוקים עולים ויורדים בו, that the angel are going up and down, again within the framework. לרבנן אמרי, סולם זה סיני. Now we're going to the second explanation, that they said that the ladder is actually Mount Sinai, and Sinai is the strength of the Torah that Hashem gave us, that with that Torah we can actually get closer to Hashem, even when we're dealing with this world, right? So if we do a business, or we're going to work, and whatever, you know, within the halacha. Like we cannot do private calls unless if we ask for permission, etc., etc. So he says, our sage says, when we're standing up in Har Sinai, right to the bottom, the fifth stop, which means that was the frame of Gedusha, Sinai, the bottom of the mountain was the first step. So we were in the first step going up, but we remain inside that frame of the Torah, the frame of the Gedusha. And this is what he says, right? So Yaakov Avinu woke up from that inspiring dream, and he said, oh, yes, there is Hashem here in this place, and I didn't know. How could I sleep in this place? But he needed to sleep, right? Because he needed to have the dream. So until now, Yaakov was all Kodesh, he was all holy. He had no relations or no touching in this world. But now he saw that, yes, even with this world, even with this lower level, Hashem is in this place. And our sages said it was a place of wild animal, chayot raot. And also how the house of Lavan was wild animals, right? And he needs to live over there. So indeed, Hashem is also there in this place, in the Gashmiut, and also in the spiritual, as long as we are in the frame of the Kedusha, the frame of the Avodah. And this is what it says here, and here I am with you, and I will watch and I will guard you in every place you go. So allegedly we need to explain what? Hashem was not with Yaakov until now, only now Hashem is going to be with him. But he said, now, until now, Yaakov was a Kodesh Kodashim, like an angel, and he didn't need any protection. But now it's Hashem will. So Yaakov Avinu will go out from the yeshiva and started to work and, you know, live this mundane life and everything. So now he needs protection. He needs a divine protection. So now Hashem is telling him, Anochi Imrach. Of course Hashem was with him, but he didn't need the protection because he was all holy. V'chol asher tilech. As Rashi explained, Ve'in Hashem nitzav alav l'shavua, Hashem standing upon him to keep him, to watch him. That when a Jew is dealing with this world, he needs an extra protection, leval yipol, so will not fall down. And that frame of the Gedusha is our divine protection, right? When we are not lenient about the Torah, about halacha, etc. And our sages says in Masechet Megillah, b'chol makom shegalu Yisrael shekina mehem, in every place we were exiled, the Shechina, one of the attributes of Hashem, are with us. And he said this is in the individual galut exile and the exile of the nation. That when we are dealing with this world, we are like in the context of Galu Israel, like it's an exile. And then the Shechina with us, and we have a divine protection. And by having the frame of the Gedusha, the Torah and the Avodah, davening, learning, etc., that is watching us. In the same context of Hashem nitzav alav l'shavua, Hashem is standing upon us to keep us. And it's explained in the dream of Yaakov that they showed him the ladder that is standing on the ground. He says it seems to be like the main purpose of the dream was the brachot, the blessing that Hashem gave him, and he should start with Hashem standing upon him. So why starting with the ladder, with the steps, one by one, and the angel going up and down? Just give it the brachot. No, it was a lesson for him to explain him that you need to work. You need to be exposed to this world and still keep your Gedusha. So also the going up and the going down is part of the work of getting into the higher level of Gedusha. Again, as long as you stay in the frame. And it says in Ma'amar Te'ilim, Achat Shalti Met Hashem, right? Achat Shalti Met Hashem, right? Ota Avakesh Shivti Bevet Hashem Kol Yemei Chayai. When I ask from Hashem, I just want to sit in your house. And I said, just says, if this bastard, right, this villain, evil inclination is working on us to trick us, bring him to the Beit HaMidrash. And they ask a question, how is it going to help if we're going to bring if we're going to escape into the Bet HaMidrash, if the evil inclination is coming with us, he's not staying outside. But he said, bring him also to the Misgeret of the Gedusha, and then he will be there, right? That indeed he's inside the Bet HaMidrash, but because he's now in the frame of Gedusha, and also we in the Misgeret of the Gedusha, in the frame of Gedusha, we have a divine protection. And this is what we ask. The explanation, Achat shaltim et Hashem, I ask one thing from Hashem, sit in the house of Hashem all my life, so that we'll be always in that frame. So it's not necessarily have to be a Midrash, it's wherever we are, we always need to cleave to Hashem and always remember Hashem, no matter what is going on. And then we will have a divine protection. And this is, again, I'm going just to finish that the dream of Yaakov Avinu about the ladder is basically was a Torah teaching us that we're starting from the bottom, we're climbing up into the next step until we get to heaven. But in the way, sometimes we need to go another step down, 2 downs, 3 ups, etc. As long as within the frame of the Gedusha, the frame of the Halachot, the frame of the Torah, we are protected. And this is one of the explanation of the dream. And it's so relevant for Hanukkah, because Hanukkah we're starting with 1 candle, the second candle, third candle, until we'll have a mighty light. But we're always starting with small step. Small things stay for a long time. Shkoyach. Thank you for listening.